Close your eyes for a moment and think about the last hour of your life. Did it pass quickly, or did it stretch out, feeling longer than 60 minutes should feel? Now think about your childhood summers. Remember how they seemed to last forever, those long afternoons that felt like they would never end. Time is strange. It moves at exactly the same pace, always. Every second is precisely 1 second long. Every minute contains exactly 60 of those seconds. And yet, time doesn't feel constant at all. Sometimes an hour vanishes in what feels like moments. Other times, a single minute can feel like an eternity. This isn't your imagination. This is real. Your experience of time genuinely changes, even though time itself remains perfectly steady. And there are scientific reasons why this happens. Understanding these reasons can help you understand yourself better. It can help you understand why your life feels the way it does. Tonight we're going to explore this mystery together, slowly, calmly, without rushing through anything, because understanding time requires taking our time. Let's begin with something simple, something you've experienced many times without thinking about it. Have you ever been in a waiting room watching the clock, waiting for your appointment? Those minutes crawl by so slowly. Each minute feels like 5 minutes. You keep checking the clock, certain that 10 minutes must have passed, only to discover it's been 2. Now think about the opposite experience. You're doing something you love. Maybe you're reading a wonderful book. Maybe you're having a great conversation with someone you care about. Maybe you're simply enjoying a beautiful sunset. Time disappears. Hours pass without you noticing. You look up, surprised, wondering where the time went. Same clock, same minutes, same seconds, but completely different experiences of time passing. This happens because time isn't just something that exists outside of you. Time is also something that happens inside your mind. Your brain constructs your experience of time moment by moment, and your brain doesn't experience time the way a clock measures time. A clock is simple. It counts. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. It never speeds up or slows down. It never gets bored or excited. It just counts, steadily, forever. Your brain is nothing like a clock. Your brain is constantly processing information. It's receiving signals from your eyes, your ears, your skin, your muscles. It's thinking about the past and anticipating the future. It's feeling emotions. It's paying attention to some things and ignoring other things. And all of this activity affects how you experience time. Think about attention for a moment. When you're paying close attention to time itself, time seems to slow down. This is why waiting feels so long. You're watching time pass. You're counting the seconds. You're noticing every moment. And because you're noticing every moment, your brain creates a rich, detailed memory of that period. All those details make the experience feel longer. But when you're not paying attention to time, when you're absorbed in something else, time seems to speed up. This is because your brain isn't creating those detailed moment-by-moment memories. Instead, it's focused on whatever has your attention. Later, when you look back, there are fewer memories of that period, and fewer memories make the experience feel shorter. This is one of the fundamental principles of how we experience time. The more memories you form during a period, the longer that period feels. The fewer memories you form, the shorter it feels. Let's explore this idea more deeply because it's important. It explains so much about how time feels different in different situations. Imagine you're driving a route you drive every day. Maybe it's your commute to work. You've driven this route hundreds of times. You know every turn, every traffic light, every landmark. Your brain doesn't need to pay much attention anymore. It's on autopilot. You can drive the route while thinking about other things, while planning your day, while listening to music. What happens? The drive feels quick. You arrive at work feeling like you barely remember the journey. The time passed, but it didn't feel like much time at all. Now imagine you're driving somewhere completely new. You've never been there before. You're using directions, watching carefully for the right turns. You're noticing everything. The street names, the buildings, the landscape. Your brain is engaged, it's paying attention. It's forming detailed memories of the journey. What happens? The drive feels longer. Even if it takes exactly the same amount of time as your familiar commute, it feels like more time has passed, because your brain was creating more memories during that journey. This same principle applies to everything, to your entire life, actually. Think about when you were a child. Think about how long summer vacation felt. Think about how much seemed to happen during those months. Every day was filled with new experiences. You were learning constantly, discovering things, noticing things. Your brain was forming rich, detailed memories all the time. Those summers felt endless because they were filled with so many memories, so many new experiences, so much attention to the world around you. Now think about last summer. If you're an adult, living a routine life, last summer probably feels much shorter in your memory. The days blended together more. There were fewer truly new experiences. Your brain formed fewer distinct memories. And so, looking back, that time feels compressed. This is why time seems to speed up as we get older. It's not that time actually moves faster. It's that we form fewer new memories. We encounter fewer truly new experiences. Our lives become more routine, more predictable, and our brains don't create as many detailed moment-by-moment memories of routine, predictable experiences. This can feel sad if you think about it too much, but it's also useful to understand, because if you know why time feels faster as you age, you can do something about it. You can intentionally create more new experiences. You can pay more attention to ordinary moments. You can slow down your perception of time by engaging more fully with life. Your brain doesn't have a special organ for sensing time. You don't have eyes for time like you have eyes for seeing or ears for hearing. Instead, your brain infers the passage of time based on everything else it's doing, based on how much has happened, based on how much has changed, based on how you feel. This is why emotions affect your perception of time so strongly. When you're afraid, time seems to slow down. This is a famous phenomenon. People in car accidents often report that everything seemed to happen in slow motion. The accident actually happened very quickly, of course, but their brain was in a state of intense focus. It was processing information as fast as it possibly could. It was noticing every detail. And all that intense processing creates a perception of time moving slowly. Fear activates your amygdala, a part of your brain involved in processing emotions and threats. When your amygdala is active, your brain shifts into a different mode. A mode where it pays much more attention to everything, where it processes information more quickly, where it forms very detailed memories. This is a survival mechanism. When you're in danger, it's useful to notice everything, to process everything quickly, to remember everything that happened so you can learn from it. But the side effect is that time feels distorted. Those moments of fear feel longer than they actually were. The opposite happens when you're relaxed and content. When nothing threatening is happening, your brain doesn't need to be in that heightened state. It can process information more slowly, more casually. It doesn't need to notice every tiny detail, and so time can pass more quickly in your perception. This is why relaxing activities make time disappear, why pleasant experiences seem brief. Your brain is not in alert mode. It's not forming those intensely detailed memories. It's just experiencing the moment, calmly, without analyzing everything. Right now, as you listen to this, you might notice that time feels different than it would if you were doing something stressful. This explanation is meant to be calming, steady, without sudden changes. Your brain isn't being activated in that intense fear-based way. Instead, it's in a gentler mode, a more receptive mode, and in this mode, time can flow more smoothly. Let's think about this idea of smooth time for a moment. There's something interesting about how we experience duration. Some periods of time feel smooth and continuous. Other periods feel choppy, fragmented, made up of distinct moments. When time feels smooth, it tends to pass more quickly in your perception. Everything flows together. One moment leads naturally into the next. There are no jarring transitions, no moments where you suddenly become very aware of time passing. Your consciousness just flows along, like a river moving steadily downstream. When time feels choppy, it tends to pass more slowly. You become aware of individual moments. You notice the gaps between things. You feel time ticking by in discrete units rather than flowing continuously. This is another reason why waiting feels so slow. When you're waiting, you're breaking time into units. You're thinking, it's been 5 minutes now. Then now it's been 7 minutes. Then now it's been 10 minutes. Each of these thoughts is like putting a marker in time, and all those markers make time feel longer. But when you're absorbed in something, you're not putting those markers down. You're not dividing time into units. You're just experiencing a continuous flow, and that continuous flow, when you look back on it, feels shorter. Think about watching a movie. A good movie makes time disappear. 2 hours pass without you feeling them pass. You're absorbed in the story. You're not thinking about time at all. The experience is continuous. One scene flows into the next, and your perception of time becomes smooth. But if the movie is boring, time drags. You become aware of time passing. You think, how much longer is this? You notice that you've been sitting there for 30 minutes, and you're not even halfway through. Time becomes choppy, and choppy time feels longer. Now here's something interesting. Even though absorbed, flowing time feels shorter while it's happening. It can actually feel longer when you remember it later. This might seem contradictory, but it makes sense when you think about it. When you're absorbed in a good movie, those 2 hours feel short while you're watching. But afterward, you have rich memories of the movie. You remember the characters, the plot, the scenes. All those memories make the experience feel substantial. It doesn't feel like empty time, it feels like filled time, time that contained something meaningful. Compare that to 2 hours of boredom. Those 2 hours feel long while they're happening, but afterward, you barely remember them. There's nothing to remember, nothing happened, your mind was just waiting. And when you look back, those 2 hours feel empty, almost like they didn't really count. This is an important distinction. There's how time feels while it's passing, and there's how time feels when you remember it. These two things are different, and they're affected by different factors. While time is passing, it feels longer when you're bored or uncomfortable, and shorter when you're engaged or comfortable. But when you remember time afterward, it feels longer when you formed rich memories, and shorter when you formed few memories. This means that the most satisfying use of time is usually doing things that feel good while they're happening and that create rich memories afterward. Things that engage you enough that time passes smoothly, but that are meaningful enough that you remember them later as substantial, valuable experiences. This is why people often say that the best life is one filled with varied, meaningful experiences. Not because those experiences make time feel longer while they're happening necessarily, but because they make your life feel fuller when you look back on it. They give you a sense that you've really lived, that your time has been filled with substance rather than emptiness. Your body also has its own sense of time. Deep inside your brain, there's a biological clock that runs on a roughly 24-hour cycle. This is your circadian rhythm. It tells your body when to be alert and when to be sleepy, when to be active and when to rest. This internal clock affects how you experience time throughout the day. Most people feel most alert in the late morning, around 10 or 11. During these peak hours, time often feels like it passes quickly. You're engaged, productive, present. The hours can disappear into work or activity. Then comes the afternoon dip, usually between 1 and 3. Energy drops. Focus becomes harder. During this natural low point, time can feel slower. Tasks that were easy in the morning feel harder. Your mind wanders more. You're less engaged, and less engagement means time drags. Understanding your natural rhythms can help you work with time rather than against it. When you schedule important tasks during your peak energy times, time feels easier. When you rest during your natural low points, you're honoring your body's wisdom rather than fighting it. Let's think now about how to actually live well with time. How to have a healthy relationship with it. The first step is acceptance. You cannot control time. You cannot slow it down or speed it up. You cannot make more of it. Time flows at its own pace, regardless of what you want or how you feel about it. When you accept time as it is, when you stop fighting it, something shifts. There's a relief, a relaxation. You're no longer in conflict with reality. You're just here, in time, as it is. The second step is presence, being here now in this moment. Not lost in thoughts about the past, not lost in worries about the future, just here, aware, experiencing what's actually happening. When you're present, time stops being a problem, because time as a problem only exists in relation to past and future. I don't have enough time is a thought about the future. I wasted so much time is a thought about the past. But right now, in this moment, there is no time problem. There is just this moment, this breath. The present moment is always enough. It's always complete. It doesn't need anything added to it. And when you're fully present with it, you're not worried about time. You're just being alive. Here. This takes practice. Your mind naturally wanders to past and future. That's normal, but you can gently guide your attention back to the present, again and again. Each time you notice you've drifted, you have an opportunity to return. To this breath, to this sensation, to this moment. The third step is knowing what matters to you, what you actually want to do with your time. For some people, relationships matter most. For others, creativity. For others, learning or contribution. There's no right answer. The important thing is knowing what matters to you and then spending your time in alignment with that. When your time use reflects your values, time feels meaningful, well spent. But when you spend most of your time on things that don't matter to you, time feels wasted, empty. The fourth step is balance, between doing and being, between effort and rest, between engagement and withdrawal. Modern culture emphasizes constant productivity, but that's not sustainable. You need time for rest, for simply being, for experiencing life without needing to accomplish anything. The fifth step is gratitude. When you're grateful for the time you have, time feels different, more precious, more valuable, more enough. Time is not guaranteed. You don't know how much you have. This moment might be all you have. This isn't meant to be frightening. It's just reality. And that reality makes time precious. When you remember this, your relationship with time changes. You stop taking it for granted. You pay attention. You're present. You appreciate. Because this moment is a gift. Gratitude for time makes time feel abundant rather than scarce. When you appreciate the time you have, you stop feeling like you never have enough, because you're focused on what you do have. This moment, this breath, this life, and that feels like enough. It is enough. All of these practices, acceptance and presence and alignment and balance and gratitude, they work together. They create a relationship with time that feels peaceful, sustainable, real. You won't be perfect at these practices. You'll forget. You'll get caught up. You'll fall back into old patterns. That's normal. That's human. The practice isn't about being perfect. It's about noticing when you've drifted and choosing to come back. Again and again. Each return is valuable. Each moment of presence counts. Not because you're building toward some future state of perfection, but because the choice itself is the thing. The presence itself is the thing, right now, in this moment. Time is not a problem to be solved. It's not an enemy to be fought. It's the medium of your life, the space in which you exist, and your relationship with it determines how your life feels. When you fight time, life feels hard, stressful, never enough. When you accept time, when you work with it, when you inhabit it fully, life feels different, easier, richer, more real. You are time. Time is you. You exist in time, as time, through time. Your life is time. Your time is your life. They are the same thing. This is why understanding time matters. Why cultivating a healthy relationship with time matters. Because it's really about cultivating a healthy relationship with life itself. And that relationship is always available to you, always here, always now. You can choose it in this moment. You can be present. You can accept, you can appreciate, you can rest in the simple fact of being alive. Nothing needs to be different. Time is what it is. You are what you are. Life is what it is. And all of that is enough. You have time. Right now, this moment, this breath, this awareness, this existence, you have it. And that's enough, that's everything. And it's here, now, always now, the only time there ever is. Rest in that. Be in that. Let that be enough. Because it is. Time is here. You are here. Life is here. Thank you for spending this time with me, for being present with these ideas, for exploring time together. May your relationship with time be peaceful. May your moments be lived fully. May you find that time is always enough. Rest well.